Alrighty. There's that going live tweet. And old and got some water. This poor plant needs. Ah, good stuff. Alright. So let me get my workspace set up here. Um that's quite a surprise that bought immediately as soon as the stream starts. Can't have that in here. But yeah, today's just gonna be a little bit different. I've been busy and putting stuff together, putting orders through, trying to work on designs, doodling, all of that. So it's gonna just be a little bit more chill today, I think. But I do have a convention that is Des Moines Con, um, right in the heart of Des Moines, Iowa. And that is, let's see, just a little bit over 2 weeks from now. And as I'm doing all of this stuff, I'm realizing, oh no, I didn't make a catalog. Ah, jeez. I need to get that taken care of. And so I figure, why not make today's stream about that? So, a lot has happened as far as my overall art style, my business and whatnot. So I think a new actual catalog would be in order. But before we jump into that, let's just talk real briefly about some things I'm excited about. Um, you may have seen one of them on Twitter already, but I ordered a whole batch of badge ribbons and two batches actually. One of them is for like a stamp rally that I'm participating in. Two of them, and those came in. They're looking great. And then I ordered another batch, which was all related to breakfast items. The Yeah, all of these here. The waffle, the croissant, blueberries, chocolate chips, eggs, etc. I did need to add whipped cream at some point for it, because how can you not have waffles without whipped cream? For some people. But they came in the butter one in particular that's on Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, all of that. Which is there you are. This one. The color came out even better than I had imagined. It's like the perfect shade of yellow, and the blue for the lines, beautiful. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So good. So I got those in, but then I realized I had another problem. And this one has been plaguing me for a while, and that is, how do I make badge ribbons self-serve? Because I have so many ribbons right now, that if someone wanted to, build a burger, build their breakfast, they would have to take a lot of badge ribbons as an order. And I have, let's see, I believe 11 pieces for the build the burger set. And then the breakfast one is also 11 pieces. So that's a interesting challenge in itself. But the reason for that is because those acrylic stands that you see people using for the stickers at Artist Alley, they're super common. They're very convenient because they just slot right in like this. I got the little things right here. And there's like 7 of them usually for these acrylic stands. They're nice. They're very portable. They pack flat, but they are 12.2 inches wide, and that is so frustrating. Because that is literally just a little bit short of being able to actually hold 3 badge ribbons side by side, even though it says the ribbons themselves are 4 inches. They aren't quite 4 inches. They're a little bit more than that. And then you have to have a little bit of spacing so you don't pull the whole thing out in one go. So it just like 1, 2, 3. It is just like a tiny bit just a tiny bit just a tiny bit over the limit. So I'm just considering my options, and I actually came across something really neat. It's one of these little cups, can't English, cupcake stand. Sometimes used for like food display and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's actually 16.9 inches, which is perfect, really. Let me check. Yeah, so I'm just looking at it again from over here, and my setup for it is actually almost exactly 16.9 inches. Perfect. I love it. I'm so happy that I decided to go and buy it just to see if it would work before I went in, try to draft up a whole plan, a cut plan for my laser cutter, so I could get like super specific specs. But it's like this. And I was a little worried at first about whether it would work or not, because it has a diagonal supports like this that cut a little bit into the surface of the levels. But it actually ended up being not to, because you can just pull the shelving out just a little bit. It's still relatively secure, but it gives enough space for what I ended up putting with it. And so it's 4 tiers like this. It's once again meant for putting cupcakes on. And so what I actually ended up doing here is separate this, or just use this top part here. What I ended up doing is getting these metal mesh business cards things that you can get for like reception desk and whatnot. Super simple thing. And each of these actually end up being just about 4 inches by themselves, so that's the perfect width. And the linked edges of the ribbons will stick out a little bit outside of the edges. And I just ended up putting those in there, and because there's 4 tiers and it's 16.9 inches. Along the width of it, that's actually equal to about 4 of these guys. And so each one of these can actually carry up to 16 total ribbons. So I'm super happy about that. It's a little bit more expensive than a pretty standard display rack, but the thing about it is that there's virtually no wasted space with the design. Super happy. And if I eventually downsize what I do, it could be like I just do badge ribbons on the first 3 tiers, and then I do standees up here on the top tier. That would take care of a lot of problems too. I do have quite a few badge ribbons. Yes, 11 for the Build-A-Burger and 11 for the breakfast, but then I also have a couple of additional ribbons that are related to, my business, One Trip, Lunch Break, Moonberry Miss, etc. So I'm gonna fill out the remaining space with those. And so that puts me at about 32 ribbons for the event, plus a couple more for the stamp rallies, but those won't be self-serve. Oh boy, it's a lot. But that's part of the challenge here, is figuring out how to organize all of that to make it possible to have at the booth. And then how do I translate that to the catalog? So, onto the main event for the day. Let's switch the tabs here. Quick spoiler alert, this is a stamp rally prize for me for the Sonic rally. This is a Super Eggman. Um, Apparently he has a couple of different forms based on what you want to watch. Like this one in particular is based on the calendar, like promotion that they had, where he, had a super form, not the animation version, which looks completely different. Like Eggman, has the whole dark sclera. Um, the one with the Pingas meme. No, not that one. But yeah, I just went with this design. Thought it was great fun. So that's the price for the rally. I did put together a really basic, like, backing for it, just to make sure I had my brand colors in there. I am missing the olive, but I don't know how much I will actually use olive in here. And as any project starts with some preparation, and I am actually making this 11 by 17, which is like a standard poster print. And the reason for that is, when I was at Opkai last year, I found out that there was a booth there called Sestuna Productions, and you probably know this because it's run by, it's very closely linked with Anime Mama, who is most well known for Mint Phantom. And when I went to visit their booth at Opkai, I realized that they really had a good menu game going on with their whole setup. They had the whole those roll up banner things that you see at like trade shows and whatnot. They displayed their menus at a much larger scale, and obviously I'm not that well off enough to afford making the whole new roll up poster stand print every time I go to a convention, nor do I really have the body of work for it. So they did have something else at the table that I'm taking inspiration from, and that is they had smaller versions of their catalog available at the table, and they were basically 11 by 17 prints. And I am hoping I'm not gonna get bumped for this, but I did pull off a bunch of different references from all over, and see if I could find the exact one that I'm looking for. But yeah, this is what I was talking about with the poster prints. They just had their whole setup like that. Super good. But thought I had the picture somewhere in there, but anyway, yeah, they had 11 by 17 top loaders for the prints. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, they actually make top loaders in that size? Like, I think about top loaders as in the trading card size. I didn't even think that they did any other sizes, but it kind of makes sense when you're thinking about, like, oh, comic books and that kind of stuff. They probably have some kind of top loader for that as well. But it's just such a brilliant idea because you can easily swap that in and out. You don't have to worry about making a permanent laminate. you can swap things in and out as the convention goes on, or you know, um, or you go to other conventions, you just swap out the prints in the top loader. And then because this a top loader, is sheets of plastic on top of the prints. So if you want to do, just take a Sharpie or whatever, cross things out, say sold out, put stickers on it, blah blah blah. Super good for that. So I'm taking inspiration from them and making mine also 11 by 17, so I can do the exact same thing. Now I kind of got the whole cooking collab cafe type of idea going on, so I wanted to try to get the design to be more geared towards that. And that's the other references that I have in here, like this one right here. So you can kind of see the structure that they have here, and I'm just gonna add another layer so I can mark this up. But here we got some basic framing going on. Then we have the core of the presentation, and I actually love this because it uses one of the things that I love so much about the recent style of illustration that I've gotten into, and that is the silhouette breaks. So you can see how there's the overlaps and everything. So I love that, and I want to try to figure out a format that would work well with a structure like this. And I'm thinking in the long run, I am probably going to end up doing more drop style merchandise. So rather than, oh, I'm just going to make a bunch of keychains, I'm going to make a bunch of stickers and that's it. No, in the future, I want to do more themed collections where there's multiple different products, but within the same theme. So it could be, I do a whole bunch of Rockarin, different merchandise based on her. I would then co-locate all of that. I've seen a couple of different presentation styles as far as the catalogs go. And broadly speaking, I would say there's two major categories. The first one being group a product, and then the second is a group by fandom. And for those of you in chat, or if you're watching the VOD later, I would love to hear what you think is the better format. So grouping by product, you're putting all of the keychains together, all of the stickers, the pins, the tote bags, all of that together in their own little categories. And then you have grouping by fandom, and that is, you just take all of the products that you have related to a specific fandom. So if you say have Hololive Mid, Hololive Justin's Advent, gamers, etc., or Nichisanji, or Roma Shield, um, or in terms of games, Play the Spire, Sonic, Pikmin. You know, you're grouping all of the products related to that particular fandom together. And me personally, I started out with just a group by product, because I was young. I'm saying 2 years ago, being young. No, but I was new, and I had a convention coming up very quickly, so I just needed to get something out of the door, and putting it all together by prototype was easy enough to do. But now that I'm growing, maturing, my body of work is expanding, I can start grouping things by fandoms. I personally prefer fandoms, organization, because I will say I generally don't shop for keychains. I shop for Poco keychains or Poco products. I shop for, food themed products. I shop for like a specific type of tote bag. It tends to be more about the subject rather than the medium, so to speak. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on for this. So, let's see. As far as this is concerned, I'm thinking probably the key product. And then smaller versions of other things related to that. Just kind of assembled together like how this is here with the drinks. They're all just kind of in that similar area, but they are not as dominating as say larger pieces like this. Then I might have some information about what it is. So let's say and then it would be like, okay, here's a print that I was working on, and then here's a other stickers that I have related to it, and then print and price sticker, price, something like that. Just keep it simple, structured, but easy to parse, I would say. And like some people also do, like if they're posting keychains, they will just do the design of the keychain, and then some people will do the full image of the keychain itself. I think just for the sake of making sure this is readable, I'm gonna do the overall shape. That way, if I'm offering both keychains and stickers or pins in the same grouping, it'll be easier to identify what's what. and then it'll just be kind of packed, packed. So it's easy to process, and I may do, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Um, Overarching categories as well, just to make it easier. So if, for example, I have Chroma Shift, I would do the entire page just on Chroma Shift and then divide it down by the talents inside. I have multiple fandoms that are smaller in overall capacity, and then I will combine them, but it'll just be easier to follow process. So that's a thought there. So here's a example. So they got their branding, the fandom, the types, races. It just make it very easy to skim through, organize, figure out what you want to get. And I've always wondered, when I first started out, like, why do people have different sizes of catalogs? Even if they may have the same amount of things. And then it just hit me, it just makes it a lot easier if you just go ahead and have several more pages in your overall catalog. If you do this to avoid compromising the readability of it. So that's what I am wanting to do here. Alright. So with that said, I got the base here. I'm gonna tweak this a little bit. Want to make the logo a little bit larger. Here I'm not off-centering it. I would just torment me to no end if it was slightly off-center. I think that should be pretty good for the initial base. And some people do like a, how do I say, a cover for the catalog. I don't think I'm going to be one of those people today. But it can be very good if you do a cover, because it's a way to further push the art to the forefront and kind of show off the branding that you have. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. So the first page of the catalog that I like usually will list the actual fandoms that they have available at the event, and then the overall types that's available there. Maybe a couple of highlights, like your newest stuff. So what's the word I'm looking for? Summary, I guess. So Des Moines Con, let's see, I have random wise. Let me see if I could. Yeah, okay, perfect. Black text. Sonic. Let's see. I will probably have a few stickers of Slate Inspire too, just because I worked on those, but I didn't get them done in time for any like keychain production. And these are not going to be in order just yet. I'm just spitballing here with some water. Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon's gonna be a big one. I could bring Endless Zone Zero, however, it is like a exceedingly small category. I would have to work a fair bit to bring more stuff. But yeah. Some manual line breaks for now. Genshin? Not really. Ghibli. I plan on remastering the Totoro and Kiki recipe cards that I had into art prints / recipe cards to really stress test the format. What else do I have? This is a Comic Con, Des Moines Con, and so I can't do like VTuber stuff because it's just not that common in that particular scene. I suppose he wouldn't really call like food a specific fandom, so to speak, but I'm gonna put it down anyway. Original. And this is in the fandom category rather than the product category because I'm not selling pieces. These will be like my Pacific convenience set where I design different creatures of a Pacific Ocean into convenience store snacks. So I did get a bunch of keychains for that. And I still have a bunch of stickers to work with. And I suppose, well, fantasy. That might be a little bit too broad. Goblin, or maybe. Ocean animals. Try to be somewhat specific, but not too specific. Even map. Hey, wondering. Let's see what else. got it. Sonics, Light the Spire, Pokemon. Pokemon's probably the biggest one of a overall category, other than the original design stuff. Yeah, I think that's the primary things that I got. Okay, so um technically speaking, I do have one piece, but not a whole lot. Don't know how much I will get done, but I do know I have a loopy keychain. And this is more like a actual tag list as opposed to just generalized categories. Because I know some conventions like Okai, they do try to do a vendor catalog where you can then upload the specific tags they have so people can search by it, make their own list that way. Okay, that should do. Don't add that. Randoms. This might be an opportunity for the olive colors. Have to find the right head for it. Okay. Duplicate that layer. Change stickers. Badge ribbons. I may have some button badges by the time convention comes around, because otherwise I got this kind of awkward empty space on the right side of my booth, because I had planned to have the just over there, but I haven't done a whole lot of production work to support that yet. So yeah, I gotta get on top of it. Do I want to specify? I think I will. 5 by 7 and 8 by 10 prints. Need to, and because I am probably gonna bring resting catalogs print that I did for the exhibition this month. Just a little bit of original works, see how it does in a normal capacity. I do have some pins. Well, I don't have sticker books, but I don't have cookbook. Or print flash records. If y'all can think of a better way to name that thing, I would love to hear it in a chat or in the comments once a vlog goes live on Friday. Because, man, it's kind of a mouthful, but the idea is just like the Kiki and Totoro recipe cards in the Sonic Chili Dog card, I want the front side to be an actual illustration of food or drink or whatever, and then the back side would be the recipe for making that thing. And I just think that'll be a good degree of novelty to bring into the overall space. Notice a little bit more practical. And then eventually, consolidate them into a recipe book or a cookbook. And it'll just be a lot of fun. Sure. Let's see. You got that? And then I think I'm gonna do some kind of illustration down here, maybe. Or actually, you know what? No. Let's save that for another page. Well, I could just mention it briefly, I guess. So, got it in this. And duplicate those layers. Bring them down. And rallies. And then, this will be like the stamp rallies I have at the real surface level, and then more details on the following page. These Western and ribbon rally. Sonic rally. Okay, and then I will just give myself a little reminder here. Pick all of those layers in here. That's one thing I don't like about how Clip Studio does the X layers. It just likes to put it at the very top of a list rather than inside the folders. So I always have to move them. It's a little annoying. But anyway, that's the summary page. Okay. So camp rallies. And I don't think I have the actual cards yet. But that's the structure that I would be using for those. Oops. What size did I put these at? Yeah, I'll carry them over. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. So here's a card. Um, Potential prices. And contribution. And then rules. Yeah, I'll just pull the smaller text over. Shrink this down a little bit. Mm, Maybe a 50-50 would be good. Yeah, graphic design is not exactly my passion, but it is something. Okay. Um, well, actually, name first. Find the alien at each book booth to receive a stamp. Um, and a prize ribbon. And then redeem, add food, and then fill in the blank. So just a little bit of freedom to play around with the idea. And I'll just duplicate all of these. And swap the order. Actually, I might change formatting here a little bit as well. A bit of roaring going on outside. Uh, this. Let the find the chaos emerald at each booth to receive a stamp and a prize ribbon. Redeem card for pack of super sonic character sticker. Redeem at booth. And then probably one of the things I'll do with this as well is look at there. Probably just do a layer below that. Once we get the movements, we'll be able to do the maths for these. I just had an idea. So let's take this. Move this guy up here. and update the color. Okay, great. I think that'll do. The idea here is to kind of each page with the description of, well, the label of what's in it. That way it's a little easier to browse. Oh, I'm being silly here. There. Okay. Got this. Got this. This might actually be a meter. Um, just thinking about it. Information on final page. Okay. A lot of talking already. The hour in. 2 pages. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. Let's start off with the major fandom. Just trying to imagine organized. It's probably going to be okay. So I know I have prints, multiple prints. Both the smaller 5x7 and then the larger 8x10 prints. I know I have stickers. I have some keychain. Some pins. I think those are the main category. I don't think I'm gonna subdivide these guys just because it's kind of all over the place. But there isn't really any like good logical groupings to them. Okay. And then just a little bit of psychology. What I want you guys to get the most of is going to be my keychain. So I'm going to promote that first, and then the other items later. I do have a mix of 7, 8 by that I have. I am just gonna say 10 for now. And stickers. I don't have a whole lot of pins. Oh, I'm silly. Okay. I thought I was gonna have to reorganize, but I don't. Pull up my prints over here. Perfect. little bit slower because I'm doing this through Dropbox. I did get these designs redone, keychains. They were originally prints, but I'm just giving it a chance to prove itself in a different format. Something you gotta do every now and then. Breathe some new life into existing things. See if it works out better. I'm just gonna lock this. Right, stop moving it. I did not bring back the butterfree pancakes just because I don't think it was very good, to be perfectly honest, but it was a decent shot at something. Gotta know when to hold them. That. Alrighty. That's a lot of stuff. Surprisingly so. Food. It. May actually have to make a little bit more room. And I'm actually debating whether I should bring the pins at all. Just because I think it's just not a fantastic format, maybe. Just for those specifically anyway. Down. Okay. Yeah, for the Pokemon keychains here specifically, I might be retiring them. Um, so just once these sell through, that's it. Just because I feel weird about the exact format here. I want to try something different, and so I want to do more of a on the nose field and drink illustration type of things, as opposed to character plus something. As I see how I do with those instead. These guys are a little bit too big. Okay, I know the prints might be a little bit of a category in itself. Bring that down some. Okay. And see if I could find the right ones. I have been debating whether I want to do with the other small prints I have, just given that I have most of them in the keychain format. There's always that little bit of risk just thinking about it. So accidentally, you know, diverting potential sales for one format over the other. Never quite know what's going to be the preferred format for things. I do feel like people like the meal illustrated versions a little bit better in the print format. So I'll bring a right there. Don't move. There. Hope you all are having a good night so far. You know what? I will need to fill out the boots some. so I may as well. I may actually also decrease the overall size of the and do a little reorganize. Yeah, that's better. I don't want to accidentally leave too empty space if I can help it. Okay. I think people like the square format a little bit better. Just because they're a bit more decorated. Where are you? Okay. Who knows? A little awkward, but okay. Got that. See if I can find the other one. Where are you? Oh, I hit you somewhere. And you know what? I'll do that later. For now, I think this is pretty great progress. And I'll spare you guys the boredom of me fumbling through my terrible organization. um, but yeah, it's a good start. Hope you guys appreciate the look into how I'm trying to design these things. And I'm gonna call it a night here. So have a good night and see you next time.